First contact fiasco. The vast emptiness of space stretched before Captain Alina Chen as she stood on the bridge of the U.S. horizon. Stars twinkled like distant diamonds against the velvet backdrop of infinity. This was humanity's moment, their first official diplomatic venture beyond the solar system. After decades of deep space exploration and the development of faster-than-light travel, humans were ready to announce their presence to the galactic community. Status report, Alina commanded, her voice steady despite the butterflies in her stomach. Lieutenant Riza Karim's fingers danced across his console. We're approaching the designated coordinates, Captain. All systems nominal. The Vexorian diplomatic vessel should be waiting at the rendezvous point. Alina nodded. The Vexorians, an advanced civilization that dominated this sector of the galaxy. Initial probes and automated communications had established that they were a highly organized hierarchical species with technology centuries beyond Earth's capabilities. This meeting was crucial, humanity's first impression on the galactic stage. Coming out of FTL in 3, 2, 1, announced the pilot. The starscape shifted as the horizon dropped back into normal space. And there they were. Alina's breath caught in her throat. Not one Vexorian ship greeted them, but an entire fleet. Massive vessels with sleek, crystalline structures that seemed to bend light around them. The flagship alone dwarfed the horizon by at least 20 times. That's not exactly the small diplomatic delegation they promised, muttered Commander Jackson, Alina's first officer. They're hailing us, Captain, said Communications Officer Maya Wong. Alina straightened her uniform. On screen, the view screen flickered to life, revealing a tall, slender humanoid figure. The Vexorian had iridescent blue skin that seemed to shimmer with an inner light. Multiple pairs of golden eyes blinked in unison as they assessed the human crew. I am Supreme Executor Zexcaler of the Vexorian Imperium, the alien announced, voice resonating with harmonic undertones. You will identify yourselves and state your purpose in Vexorian space. Alina stepped forward. I am Captain Alina Chen of the United Earth Vessel Horizon. We come in peace as representatives of humanity, seeking diplomatic relations with the Vexorian people as agreed upon in our previous communications. The Supreme Executor's eyes narrowed. Previous communications indicated a civilization worthy of attention. Our scans of your vessel suggest primitive technology barely capable of interstellar travel. Explain this discrepancy. Alina felt her crew stiffen around her. This wasn't starting well. With respect, Supreme Executor, we may be younger than the Vexorian civilization, but we're quick learners. Our FTL drive was developed just 15 years ago. And 15 years. Zexcaler interrupted, multiple eyes blinking rapidly. Impossible. Such technology requires centuries of development. Alina couldn't help the smile that crept onto her face. That's humans for you. We tend to accelerate when faced with challenges. The Supreme Executor conferred with advisors off-screen, their musical language incomprehensible to the human crew. When Zexcaler turned back, their expression was severe. Your presence represents an anomaly. The Imperium requires further examination of your species before diplomatic relations can proceed. Your vessel will be escorted to our primary assessment facility. Alina's smile vanished. That wasn't part of our agreement. We came for a diplomatic meeting, not an examination. The agreement is altered, stated Zexcaler flatly. Compliance is mandatory. Resistance will be considered hostile action. As if to emphasize the point, the Vexorian vessels shifted formation, surrounding the horizon. They're powering up targeting systems, Lieutenant Karim reported quietly. Alina held the alien's gaze. We need to confer among ourselves before responding to this alteration. Please allow us a moment. Without waiting for permission, she signaled Wong to cut the transmission. Options, people, Alina demanded, turning to her senior staff. We're outgunned and outmaneuvered, Jackson stated grimly. Their technology would cut through our defenses like butter. Dr. Aisha Okafor, The ship's xenobiologist spoke up. From what I can discern, they're confused by us. We don't fit their understanding of technological progression. They may see us as a threat or an impossibility. Elena paced the bridge. So they want to take us apart to see how we work. Literally or figuratively remains to be seen. Captain, Maya interjected. During their conference, I picked up something interesting. Their language processing system was partially translating their private conversation. They referred to humans as chaotic elements and evolutionary anomalies. I think they're genuinely disturbed by us. A slow smile spread across Elena's face. Chaotic elements, huh? Maybe that's our advantage. She turned to her officers. The Vexorians are obsessed with order and predictability. Let's show them something unpredictable. Captain. Jackson looked concerned. Reopen the channel. Elena commanded. The Supreme Executor reappeared, looking impatient. Supreme Executor Zexcalor. Elena began, adopting a casual posture. We've considered your proposal to examine us and have an alternative suggestion. The alien's eyes blinked in confusion. Alternatives are not acceptable. You will comply. Elena shrugged dramatically. See, that's where humans differ from Vexorians. We're big on alternatives. For example, instead of going to your facility, why don't you join us for dinner? There was a stunned silence both on the Vexorian ship and the Horizon's bridge. Dinner. Zexcalor finally repeated, as if the word was foreign. Yes, dinner. A shared meal. Cultural exchange. We brought excellent wine from Earth, though we're not sure what Vexorians drink. But we're adaptable. Very, very adaptable. The Supreme Executor seemed genuinely speechless. This clearly wasn't in any protocol. Captain, Dr. Okafor whispered urgently. What are you doing? Showing them chaotic elements, Elena whispered back before addressing the aliens again. Or if you prefer, we could play a game. Humans love games. Chess, poker, soccer, you name it. The Vexorian delegation appeared to be having some kind of collective meltdown. Multiple conversations erupted among their officers. This is not diplomatic procedure, Zexcalor finally stated. You are facing superior firepower and respond with invitations to recreational activities. Elena grinned. It's called being neighborly. Worth a try before we start shooting at each other, don't you think? Though I should warn you, humans have a history of winning against overwhelming odds. It's kind of our specialty. The bridge crew held their breath. Elena knew she was gambling with their lives, but her instincts told her that predictability was the last thing they needed right now. After what seemed like an eternity, Zexcalor spoke. Your behavior is unexpected. The Imperium requires time to assess this approach. You will remain in position while we consult with the Central Authority. The transmission ended abruptly. Did you just invite an alien fleet to dinner and then threaten them in the same conversation? Jackson asked incredulously. Elena returned to her chair. I showed them who we are. Humans don't fit into neat categories. We're messy, contradictory, and unpredictable. And from what I can tell, that terrifies them. Hours passed in tense silence. The Vexorian fleet maintained their position, weapons still powered up but not firing. Elena refused to show weakness, ordering normal shifts to continue and preparations for either combat or diplomacy to proceed simultaneously. Finally, a new transmission came through. This time, it wasn't Zexcalor, but another Vexorian, adorned with elaborate insignia. I am High Sovereign Nexparda of the Vexorian Imperium, the alien announced. Your encounter with Supreme Executor Zexcalor has been noteworthy. Elena stood at attention. High Sovereign, it's an honor. I hope we can find a peaceful resolution to our misunderstanding. The High Sovereign studied her carefully. Your species presents a conundrum. You possess technology beyond your apparent development stage. Your diplomatic approaches defy established protocols. You show no fear in the face of superior force. We're full of surprises, Elena replied with a small smile. Indeed, This raises significant concerns about humanity's place in the galactic order. Nexvarda's expression became grave. The Imperium has reached a decision. You will submit to complete examination, or your species will be designated as a Class 1 chaotic element, subject to immediate containment. The temperature on the bridge seemed to drop several degrees. And what exactly does containment entail? Elena asked, though she could guess the answer. The isolation of your home system behind a quantum barrier and neutralization of any external human presence, Nexvarda stated matter-of-factly. This is non-negotiable. You have 6 of your Earth hours to comply. The transmission ended, leaving the bridge in stunned silence. They want to quarantine the entire human race, Jackson whispered. Elena gripped the arms of her chair. Or dissect us to figure out what makes us tick. Dr. Okafor approached the captain. They're afraid of us, Elena. Not of our weapons or technology, but of our unpredictability. We represent chaos in their ordered universe. Elena stared at the magnificent Vexorian fleet on the view screen. Humanity's first contact with an advanced alien civilization, and they were already facing extinction or imprisonment. A slow smile spread across her face. Well then, she said, turning to her crew, let's show them just how chaotic humans can be. The human factor. All hands, battle stations, Elena commanded, her voice cutting through the tense atmosphere on the bridge. The crew sprang into action, but confusion was evident on their faces. Captain, Commander Jackson whispered, we can't possibly win a direct confrontation. Elena's eyes sparkled with determination. Who said anything about a direct confrontation? Lieutenant Karim, what's the status of Project Pandora's box? Karim looked up, surprised. The experimental system. It's operational but untested in field conditions. Perfect time to test it then, Elena replied. Dr. Okafor, you said the Vexorians fear our unpredictability. Let's give them something truly unpredictable. The xenobiologist nodded slowly. You're going to use our perceived chaos as a weapon. Not a weapon, Elena corrected. A demonstration. She turned to Communications Officer Wang. Open a channel to the Vexorian flagship and prepare for the most important broadcast in human history. High Sovereign Nexvarda appeared on screen, looking imperious. Your time for deliberation continues for 5 more hours. Have you reached a decision? Elena smiled pleasantly. We've decided to decline both options. The High Sovereign's multiple eyes blinked in confusion. That is not possible. The choices presented are the only ones available. For Vexorians, perhaps, but humans have a habit of creating third options. Elena gestured to her crew. We've been analyzing your fleet's communication frequencies. Fascinating technology, beautiful in its complexity. We've noticed something interesting, though. Nexvarda's expression grew wary. Explain. Your entire civilization depends on perfect synchronization. Your ships, your hierarchy, even your biology. Everything operates in harmony. Elena leaned forward. But what happens when that harmony is disrupted? Before the High Sovereign could respond, Elena nodded to Karim. Now. The lieutenant activated Project Pandora's box. Designed as an experimental electronic warfare system, it sent targeted electromagnetic pulses calibrated to the specific frequencies used by Vexorian systems. The effect was immediate and spectacular. The lights on the Vexorian vessels flickered. Their perfect formation wobbled as ships momentarily lost positional control. On the view screen, Nexvarda's image distorted. What have you done? Demanded the High Sovereign, harmonics in their voice becoming discordant. We've introduced a bit of chaos into your system, Elena explained calmly. Nothing damaging, just enough to demonstrate a point. We could have targeted your weapons or life support, but that's not our way. This is simply a conversation starter. The Vexorian fleet struggled to stabilize. Their technology was advanced, but it had never been designed to handle random fluctuations and unpredictable patterns, the very essence of humanity that they found so disturbing. Captain, Maya reported, They're attempting to recalibrate, but each time they find the pattern, our system changes variables. Elena nodded. Let them adjust. Fade the disruption gradually. As the Vexorian system stabilized, Nexvarda's image cleared. The High Sovereign looked both outraged and surprisingly intrigued. This attack. Demonstration, Elena corrected. If it were an attack, we would have targeted critical systems. This demonstration, Nexvarda conceded, proves our point about the dangerous nature of your species. Elena shook her head. It proves that difference isn't synonymous with danger. Yes, humans are unpredictable. We value adaptability and creativity. We find solutions where others see only problems. But that doesn't make us a threat unless you force us to be. She gestured around her bridge. Look at my crew. Different genders, ethnicities, backgrounds, unified by common purpose rather than enforced conformity. Our chaotic nature, as you call it, is our greatest strength. It's how we achieve faster than light travel in decades instead of centuries. The High Sovereign remained silent, evaluating. You're right to be cautious about new species, Elena continued. But imagine what the Vexorian Imperium and humanity could accomplish together. Your order and our chaos, complementary forces rather than opposing ones. Engineer Santos entered the bridge, approaching Elena with a datapad. She glanced at it and smiled. For instance, she continued, while we've been talking, our engineers have been studying the data from our little demonstration. They've already developed 3 possible improvements to your ship's power distribution systems. She transmitted the data to the Vexorian flagship. Consider it a gift, a down payment on friendship. The bridge of the Vexorian vessel erupted in activity as their scientists examined the human designs. Elena could see the conflict playing out on Nexvarda's face, suspicion warring with curiosity. These adaptations, the High Sovereign finally said, they increase efficiency by nearly 12%. Humans are good at finding unconventional solutions, Elena replied with a shrug. Imagine what we could learn from you, and what you could learn from us. For the first time, Nexvarda's expression softened slightly. Your demonstration was provocative, but effective. Perhaps there is merit in further evaluation before classification. Elena felt a surge of hope. We welcome evaluation as equals, not as specimens. We came seeking diplomatic relations. That offer still stands. The High Sovereign conferred with advisors before responding. The Imperium has existed for 12,000 years by maintaining order and hierarchy. Your species represents disorder. Creative disorder, Elena countered. The kind that leads to innovation. The universe itself operates on a balance between order and chaos. Perhaps civilization should too. Hours of negotiation followed. The entire crew worked tirelessly, preparing data, demonstrations, and cultural exchanges that highlighted humanity's unique perspective. Elena knew they weren't just fighting for the horizon, but for Earth's place in the galactic community. Finally, Nexvarda announced the Imperium's decision. Humanity will be classified as a paradoxical evolution species, the first such designation in Imperium history. You are neither ally nor enemy, but a species requiring specialized diplomatic protocols. Elena suppressed a smile. We accept this designation. And the quarantine. Suspended, pending further cultural exchange. A diplomatic delegation will be permitted to visit Vexorian space, and reciprocal visits to Earth will be arranged. The High Sovereign's eyes betrayed a hint of what might have been amusement. Your dinner invitation is tentatively accepted. After the transmission ended, the bridge erupted in cheers. Commander Jackson approached Elena, shaking his head in wonder. How did you know it would work? Elena looked out at the stars, at the vast galaxy that humanity was now officially part of. I didn't, but I knew we had to be authentically human. They wanted to classify us, contain us, make us fit their understanding of the universe. She smiled. Instead, we forced them to expand their understanding. In the following weeks, as the diplomatic mission proceeded, the Vexorians gradually began to comprehend the strange species they'd encountered. Humans were indeed chaotic, unpredictable, and sometimes baffling. But they were also innovative, adaptable, and surprisingly principled. During the first official banquet aboard the Vexorian flagship, Supreme Executor Zex Calor approached Elena with what appeared to be reluctant respect. "Your species continues to confound our experts," the executor admitted. "We have analyzed your history, your art, your sciences. There is no logical pattern to your development." Elena sipped her drink, a luminescent Vexorian beverage that tasted like spiced honey. "That's humanity in a nutshell. We stumble, we fall, we get up, we leap forward. Sometimes we take steps backward, but we always keep moving. It is inefficient," Zex Calor noted. "But effective," Elena countered, "and never boring." For the first time, the Supreme Executor's lips curved in what might have been a smile. "Indeed, the Imperium has existed for millennia without significant change. Perhaps there is value in a little chaos." As Elena looked around at humans and Vexorians cautiously engaging with each other, she felt a profound sense of accomplishment. Humanity's first major step into the galactic community had been fraught with danger, but they had prevailed not through superior firepower or technology, but through their most human qualities: adaptability, creativity, and the courage to be different. The vast emptiness of space no longer seemed empty. It was filled with possibilities, with civilizations to meet, with perspectives to exchange. And humanity, with all its beautiful chaos, had earned its place among the stars. To chaos and order, Elena proposed, raising her glass to Zex Calor, and the infinite possibilities between them. After a moment's hesitation, the Supreme Executor raised their glass in return. "To new understandings," they replied, "and the unpredictable journey ahead."